Next item, in the names of Deputy Gerry Adams and Imelda Munster. Deputy Adams, you have 2 minutes.
Mágad las concurgus Tommy Wake and Concordia, la chance and over Topical Shaw Flay and you Augusta, Alan Dini and Dundalgan, August Charlie Buraha, Tare struck Nook for an authentic food company, Gerry Shockton as Shakaicha. I first wrote to this company, IRA, on the 21st of September, having been contacted by workers and their representatives about rumours that Authentic Food was closing. The company did not respond to my initial correspondence or to representations from Sinn Féin councillors, Rory O'Marahu and Dan Campbell. Instead, on October the 19th, the company went to the High Court. The staff then received notice that the company was allegedly insolvent and unable to pay wages. I met the liquidators this morning. The managing director of Authentic Foods, Nick Basran, claims that the management carried out a comprehensive review of the business to try and find a way to make it profitable over the long term, but he said this was not possible. The Minister has a responsibility to ask what type of review is it that excludes the workers' representatives, that refuses to engage directly with Unite. What kind of review is it that can be manipulated by employers so that these workers have no notice pay, no P45, no reference and no redundancy payments, and no income for 6 weeks? In my view, it's very calculated, it's sharp practice. So will the Minister give the Dáil a commitment that you will investigate whether this is a tactical insolvency? We need to establish if the British-based Authentic Food Company deliberately wound down the Dundalk plant. The workforce have been treated shamefully. They can't access social welfare, and I want to urge the Minister to use your discretion to ensure that the workers get their social welfare payments as soon as possible. I've also spoken to Enterprise Ireland to encourage them to find a buyer for this plant and to ensure them of Sinn Féin support for this. And I would ask the Minister for Enterprise to do everything possible to have this workforce re-employed as quickly as possible. But my main point is, this workforce, these workers, need their social welfare entitlements initially.
Deputy Munster, 2 minutes.
Thanks, Gerry. Minister, the most pressing issue here is that the staff of the Authentic Food Company factory in Dundalk are now in the desperate situation where they receive no pay or no social welfare payment for the next month. And workers will also not receive their P45 for another month. So unless immediate action is taken, they'll be left high and dry for the next 30 days as we approach the Christmas period. The Minister for Social Protection must intervene, Minister, and put procedures in place to ensure that this matter is rectified immediately. 180 people have just lost their jobs, Minister, and now they face a month with no income, no social welfare to be able to rely on to tide them over. So how are they going to pay their bills, Minister, or feed their families as we approach the next 30 days? And, Minister, what I want to know is, how do you propose to rectify this situation? This mess was brought about. It wasn't of the workers' making. So how do you propose to rectify this, that workers are not left for 30 long days without any sort of payment whatsoever?
I get the Minister's 4 minutes.
Thank you very much indeed, Lascian Corla, and I want to thank Deputy Adams and Deputy Munster for raising this very sensitive and issue here that has arisen as a result of the closure of the Authentic Food Company in Dundalk, and of course for all of us. And I'm sure I talk for both for yourselves as well. I know we're in touch with the employees there. Our thoughts are always with the families that are affected by the closure of a company, and it's a very difficult time for them. And I think we understand that very much indeed. Can I just say a few words? First of all, the Protection of Employment Act 1977 imposes a number of obligations on employers who are proposing collective redundancies, including the obligation under Section 9 and 10 to engage in an information and consultative process with employees' representatives and to provide certain information relating to the proposed redundancies. Section 11A of the Act provides that where the employee believes the employer to be in breach of Section 9 or 10, they may pursue a complaint through the WRC, That's the Workplace Relations Commission. It is also an offence under Section 11 of the Act, where an employer fails to comply with Section 9 or 10. So following contact from my department, the joint provisional liquidators of the company have advised the consultation process with employees began on Friday the 19th of October and will continue for a period of 30 days. My department, and that's also a Minister of State at the department, and will continue to engage with the provisional liquidators as required. In cases where the employer is insolvent, the Social Insurance Fund provides a safety net for the employees. It is the liquidator's responsibility to seek, on behalf of the employees, payment from the redundancy payment scheme in respect of the statutory redundancy and from the insolvency payment scheme in respect of wage-related entitlements. An eligible employee is entitled to 2 weeks statutory redundancy payment for every year of service plus a bonus week. Compensation is based on the worker's length of reckonable service and reckonable weekly remuneration, subject to a ceiling of €600 a week. In order to qualify for a statutory redundancy payment, the employee must be at least 2 years of continuous service, be employment which is insurable under the Social Welfare Acts, and be over the age of 16. Entitlements covered under the Insolvency Payment Scheme are arrears of wages, holiday pay, sick pay, payment in lieu of minimum notice and certain pension contributions. Payments are calculated by reference to the employee's wages and are subject to a limit of €600 per week, and arrears of wages, sick pay, holiday pay and minimum notice are limited to 8 weeks. Can I say to you, Deputies, my department will ensure that the affected employees receive advice on job seekers' payment and other income supports that may be available to them, and to provide them with the necessary support in relation to returning to work or assessing appropriate education and training and development options. The social welfare team in the North East Division met with the employees of the company yesterday and provided them with the information on the intro services available locally. An additional information and recruitment event for the workforce will be held in the Crown Plaza Hotel in Dundalk on Thursday the 1st of November next. The event will be supported by other key service providers such as the local employers with job vacancies, and they have also been committed to attend this event. The key message for employees is that the department will provide any redundancy, insolvency and job seeker payments to which they may be entitled to in a timely manner, and will proactively help them to access opportunities available for employment. Finally, the Workplace Relations Commission Services section provides information in relation to the rights and obligations of employees and employers in respect under the employment rights legislation. WRC information officials are available to meet the staff concerned, either individually, can I say, or collectively, to discuss their employment rights, including matters relating to redundancy.
Gerry Adams. Would you want?
Yeah, well, first of all, Minister, your answer bears no relationship to my question whatsoever. And I would ask you to study my question and come back to me, if you would, in writing about it. There is some small chink of light where you do say that the key message for employees is that the department will provide any redundancy, insolvency and job seeker payments which they may be entitled in a timely manner. I'm asking you now, how do these people pay their rent? Last week they were in work, this week they're not in work. How do they pay the rent? Where do they get the money? So you have the discretion, and you can send a very, very, very clear signal that they get paid now. There are other issues, I don't have time to go into them, which I raised in terms of my question, but they've got to do with these type of liquidations. And there is a responsibility on the Minister if this is a tactical liquidation which is to the advantage of the company and to the disadvantage of the workers. They ignored the unions. They ignored communications from me and from other local representatives. It was willful, it was deliberate, it was tactical. They went to the court, and the people who are the salt of the earth, who give loyal service to this company, are being abandoned. So I'm asking you, Minister, you might not have the chance to study what I have said, but I'm asking you to pick up on this and make a difference in the lives of these workers and their families.
Imelda Munster, would you want?
Minister, companies can't be allowed to run amok in this way. They must be compelled to talk to trade unions in situations like this. The worker can't always be the loser here, Minister. They must be protected. The government has to provide that protection, and we've raised the issue of the next 30 days. without receiving any payment whatsoever to pay bills, mortgages, put food on the table. My colleague David Cullinan and I have already introduced legislation, the Trade Union Representation Bill 2018, and I sincerely hope that this bill won't be blocked by government in the same way that previous governments have blocked by government. You need to step up, Minister, and support our efforts to rectify this. And Minister, you must make provision for the social welfare payments for the workers in Dundalk and support our bill when it comes before the committee to stop something like this from ever happening again. So we would like a definitive answer, Minister. Are you going to ensure that workers in the next 30 days receive payments to tide them over until such time as they get their P45?
2 minutes.
Can I say to both deputies, our first thoughts are with the families here that are affected. 180 people have lost their jobs as a result of this. And can I say to you that our response plan was put into place immediately once the liquidator was appointed here. It was put into place over the weekend and put into place on Monday, should I say, but the process started over the weekend and put into place on Monday. An emergency response plan was put into place by our teams in Dundalk, and that was very evident. The first thing, and you've rightly pointed out, is that the affected employees quickly receive access to all income supports available. And support and any supports that can be available for them will be provided with job opportunities. The agencies have been informed of the situation in relation to any job opportunities for people that are affected by this as well. And of course the appropriate education and training. They will get priority here in this area as well. So I think we've acted very quickly in relation to this, and the intro team in Dundalk have as well. They met the workers on Monday afternoon at Ballymascanlon Hotel, as you know, on this, etc. And the priority there was to expedite payments, offer them help and assistance in relation to the public cards registration, all that information. And of course, as I said in my reply earlier, an information and recruitment event will take place in the Crown Plaza Hotel on the 1st of November, between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. That's really important because everybody will be attending this event. You will have the ETB, the Education and Training Board, Dundalk IT will attend there as well, the local enterprise offices, the National Learning Network, the revenue will be there, Money Advice and Budgetary Service, the Citizens Advice Service. All the agencies will be there to help and assist these people who have unfortunately found themselves in this particular situation. And we will ensure that those 100, and can I, Deputy Adams, we will ensure that these 180 employees will get priority in whatever skills necessary to obtain them. And I will take a note of what you said earlier in your remark. I promise you that. Okay.